Ho, 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 everyone. It's that time of the year again. I read Distortion Detective. It's Christmas. And what better gift than to read a book, or read in general, or just try to string letters together to sentences and make sense of it. I know I've been keeping some of you waiting for a long time to continue this, but I just didn't have the time. And I'm very glad to be able to drop this on Christmas Eve, because it's still Christmas Eve for me. I don't know if it still will be by the time I finish editing this, but it's 10:30, and I promised last week, unknowingly, not thinking ahead of 17+7 could be, I promised last week that I would do this, so here I am doing it. Looking forward to it as well. Just a cheeky 2 to 3 chapters, okay? We're continuing with Chapter 10, Blockade, an artificial distortion created by someone's design. Of course, by now we know a lot more about distortions and the things going on in the Project Moon universe in general. Uriah, you're more than capable of repairing this elevator, right? Yeah. Please get it fixed as quickly as possible. I'll be looking after Ezra for a bit. Last time, I think they fought this massive flash mountain creature, if I remember correctly, the one with weapons and lots of arms and stuff. Just watch the last video if you don't remember, or read it yourself. Hey, no worries, detective. I've been through this much a lot. There have been a few occasions that could harm Ezra this badly, though injuries in general are not a huge concern for her. Still, it wouldn't hurt to take extra caution, considering that's the distortion we're dealing with this time. I came near Ezra, who's resting on the floor, and took out a first aid kit from a dimensional bag. It's been a while since I bandaged your wounds myself. It really has. The stakes embedded in Ezra's body fizzled into vapor when the skeleton beast fell. I wrap a Faina workshop pressure bandage on the open wounds. Blood is still oozing out, but there doesn't seem to be any sign of infection or transmission. I'm afraid I don't have anything that could emulate the sound of blood oozing out, but I can give you some liquid sounds at least. Give me a second. How do I do this? I have tea here. I think I can. I know, this sounds more like me, like having a wee. But maybe Ezra just has very thin blood, and it's just flowing out like a small river. What was up with this distortion, detective? These things kept getting tougher and tougher. Could it be the same type as the mock exam case? Beats me. Alright, take care of the rest yourself. I like how even when she's worried about her, she's still a little bit cold towards Ezra. I stood up and approached the altar-like black box at the other end of the chamber. The distortions of this company's employees were sucked into this box, which in turn created a white smoke that manifested into one giant distortion. That wasn't a mass distortion shared by many people like the one we saw in the mock exam case. An artificial distortion created by someone's design. Wait a second. Smoke immediately rings an alarm bell in my head when it comes to abnormalities and distortions and the city in general. Ezra, come and get this weird thing when you're done bandaging. Got it, Chief? Ezra picked up the bag and dusted herself off as she stood up. Detective Moses, the elevator's working. We can get to any floor we want now. This company intentionally put its employees to sleep in this underground chamber and hired fixers to fight against the man-made distortion. What are they planning to do with it? Develop it into a weapon? If they could manage to control the distortion through technical methods, they'd shake up the balance of power for sure. I'm not entirely sure about that. After what we've seen, with how strong the Arbiters are especially, I think if they had wanted, they could just roll over everyone. They're so strong. But how exactly? How is it possible to Quantity is a noun, so this must be quantitative. Can't. How is it possible to measure and manipulate the human mind through a device or two? The technology that could achieve such a feat would be nothing short of a singularity. It's not an advancement that some obscure company in the back streets could make on its own. Something is up with this company. Let's head to the 8th floor. Understood. We're heading up. Ezra hurriedly hopped into the elevator. The strange box fortunately seems to fit into a dimensional bag somehow. Can you put a human in a dimensional bag? What happens? How does it work? This must be a question that gets asked every time a concept like this is brought up. What can you fit in it? Who decides how much you can fit in it? What is inside it? What happens if you just stick your hand in? Or I guess you have to stick your hand in because you have to get things out. But how do you know what to get out of it? Does it read your mind? Dimensional bags. How the fuck do they work? If you can tell me, drop a comment. Sunbay, are you feeling alright? Silence ensued. Ezra Sunbay. Huh? Me? I'm your Sunbay? Ezra exclaimed with surprise. Since we're both assistants of Detective Moses, and you're my senior here, I'm calling you Sunbay from here on out. Aw, that's a cute bonding moment between her and Uriah. Uriah finally seems to have acknowledged Ezra. Well, she saw her fight after all. Oh gosh, Detective, she must be distorted. Let's save the friendly jokes for when we get back to our office. We're almost at the 8th floor now. Ding dong. Wait a second. I'm sure I can do a ding dong here. Like, what if I slap my dick on the table? I'm sure that must be a good ding dong. I actually can't replicate a ding dong. Can you believe that? I don't have a... Wait a sec. I'm sure I had a little, like, bell down here. Just need to... Yeah. When I do these, I have to be careful not to take up too much time with shit like this, because I don't think that many people actually care about that. Some people might find it cute or endearing when I try to insert some sound novel elements into this, but not entirely sure about everyone, you know? So if I can't find a bell in one of my drawers now... Man, I have a lot of shit in these. Like that... Oh god, no. That vibrates, but it doesn't ding dong. This? No. Alright. No ding dong for you, everyone. No ding dong for everyone. Ding dong is cancelled. No ding dong this Christmas. Because Ding Dong made a very insensitive joke about... Oh god. I dread to finish the sentence, so I'd rather not. We were met with strong scent of blood when the elevator doors opened. This is the smell of fresh blood. The office was overgrown with green vines, bearing countless red fruits on the ceiling. Oh no, I'd recognize this, I think. My eyes traced along the stems of the vines, starting from their tips to the ceiling. They led back to the agape mouths of this company's employees. None of them were alive. This is... The same box we'd seen in the sleeping chamber was placed in the middle of this office. Yet another distortion. Interesting, can they somehow control... Can they trigger a distortion with these boxes? Detective, does this mean it's more like the one we just fought? Concerned, Ezra asked. I placed my hand on my forehead. We can't take this anymore. Both Ezra and I are at our limits. We'd be dead meat if we face another distortion at the level of the one we encountered just before. Ezra, Uriah, our objective from now on is to survive. Follow every order I have to give you. Why don't they just leave if they know that they're, like, done for today? And they have the elevator at their, like, fingertip by now, since Uriah repaired it, and they can go to any floor they want. Why don't they just try to run for it? Maybe Moses can, since she feels like it's her responsibility. The two nod in response. Maybe they're trying to leave, but she just doesn't know what they could be experiencing or encountering along the way. Wee woo! A siren went off, followed by an announcement. Wee woo, wee woo, wee woo.
Emergency lockdown. Emergency lockdown. Young Produce Company is closing business as of now. Repeat. Young Produce Company is closing business as of now. Dear employees, as per the terms of the employment contract, you may not leave the company building. Repeat.
Shaka, 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 shaka. Shutters came down on the office windows one by one. Shaka, 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 shaka. It's a little bit too loud for a shaka, shaka. Ezra, use as much force as possible to break that window right now. Yes, Chief. Ezra equipped both Namir Workshop's and Alice's Workshop's gauntlets on her hands and dashed into the window for a powerful strike. The massive weight of the punch sent tremors through the office, but it only left a dent on the shutter. That was no ordinary steel. Oh my god, do they need jet fuel to break this? We're completely trapped here. I took out my pipe and started smoking from it. Detective Moses, the elevators no longer functioning. The building's main system is entirely shut down. So they're imprisoned. Everything, this is the problem with electricity. As soon as it doesn't work, you're fucked if you're inside a building like this. Yuri gave me bad news on top of this. By the way, this is like Namir Workshop and Alice's Workshop. I think I recognize Alice's Workshop, but I don't recognize Namir Workshop. So if people have some information, mostly spoiler-free, please, about the workshops and what their specialties are. Again, feel free to remind both me and everyone watching this, because I guess it would be useful to know, right? If they have some certain properties, like the things they produce. Ka-chink, ka-chink, smash. Wait a second, we can do this, no biggie. This is an easy one. I hear something shattering. Did the window give in to the impact? Of course not. I was a dunce and a fool to make such a hasty assumption. Ezra, get your stigma blade ready. And Yuria, can you make a device that can start a fire currently? Or is you trying to trigger the emergency system or something? None that I can craft at the moment, but I could try using something I prepared for your smoking pipe, Detective Moses. What is this sound? The red objects hanging from the ceiling were not fruit of any kind. They were eggs. Oh no, we have to eat all of them. We were in a hatchery of some sort. The shock of Ezra's punch caused those eggs to hatch. Massive mosquitos with the faces of humans slowly crawled out of the cracked shells. Wow. I guess I won't sleep tonight. Detective, they're coming! Ezra yelled urgently. Yuria, let's try what you suggested, whatever it is. I handed my pipe over to Yuria. Ezra held a blade and prepared herself for combat. The mosquitoes hovered in the air for a moment before charging at us. Ezra's fiery sword sliced through several mosquitoes, but it wasn't nearly enough to stop them all. The insects bit Ezra and started sucking the blood out of her body. I can make a sucking sound like... Make it quick, Yuria! It's done! Try imagining fire in the same way as when you turned your pipe into the red sword. She gave me back my pipe, now with a red ribbon tied around it. How does this work? I let in a red breath. Bursts of flame rose from the pipe's bowl, which then took the form of birds. The burning birds fly into the giant pests feasting on Ezra and set them ablaze. Thanks, Detective. So wait, Yuria can... If we assume that the pipe is ego equipment, how can Yuria enhance it this... Let's not call it easily, but somehow spontaneously? Is she that gifted? Ezra's voice lacks energy. My body rapidly grows cold. It's as if my life's warmth is being drained away. I suppose everything must come at a price. Let's take the stairs over here. This door isn't locked, thankfully. Yuria gave us... Oh, it was Yuria. Yuria gave us good news this time, flinging open the door to the stairwell. The birds of flame bought us enough time to make our way to the door. Goodness, Yuria quietly muttered as soon as she stepped into the stairwell. A stream of people flows along the staircase. It's quite literally a river of humans. They float down the stairwell, their limbs tangled up with each other. Oh shit, it's a Red King, but for people. Detective, is this the end for us? Ezra barely managed to speak. Not today, I answered faintly. It's a good way to end it. There's some translation notes about Sonbei, but we know that by now, right? Because it's been very heavily used in Ruina. Although we typically try to avoid using honorifics in our translations, this is one of the few times where an exception has been made due to the difficulty of finding a suitable English equivalent. I'm okay with Sonbei, just as I am okay with Senpai. Next chapter is chapter 11, The Tide. Let's read through this. Chapter 11, The Tide. In this rush, I desperately held onto Ezra and Yuria's hands, like both of them. There's a swift torrent of people that looks as though it could carry off anyone who may carelessly tread in it. We're out of options. Our only choice is to let the current take us wherever it may lead to. Oh my god, would you swim in a river of people? Like, supposedly, assumedly dead ones? I guess? This is weird. Like, the mosquitoes with human heads is horrible, but the river of dead people is just about one of the worst concepts I could actually come up with. I don't even think I could come up with something like that, but I can't imagine something worse right now, so Ezra, Uriah, I need you to trust me. Sure thing, Chief. Alright. We're jumping into the stream. Understood. What? The difference in attitude is palpable. I'm the first to step into the river. I was sucked right in as soon as I immersed a foot ankle deep into the stream of flesh. Flesh is a very peculiar word for this, for what they're doing. Oh god. As I quickly descend along with the wave, I catch a glimpse of each floor. The 7th floor, where employees are crawling on all fours, viciously preying on each other. The 6th floor, where humans folded into cuboid shapes are stacked up. Fuck me. Wait a second, I'm sure there's like... Isn't there like a creepypasta about this? The 5th floor, where drowned employees are floating in the air. The 4th floor, where a number of people are offering a human sacrifice to what appears to be a statue of a person who reached nirvana. The 3rd floor, where the minds of employees are being absorbed by a dark shade. This is amazing. Every floor has their own abnormality. And even if it's just like a one-sentence idea, I could see them working in a way. Like the one that's the least interesting is actually the one with the dark shade, where the minds of employees are being absorbed by a dark shade. But a human sacrifice, this is interesting, yet at the same time, a statue of a person who reached nirvana. That makes it very religious and interesting. The drowned employees floating in air. Why are they floating in air? How did they drown? Who did this? Where's the abnormality actually? Is the abnormality the air? Humans folded into cuboid shapes? We don't need to further elaborate on that. That is mental. Employees crawling on all fours, viciously preying on each other. I guess they just reached their inner furry or something and embraced it. Ugh, they're gonna start pouncing and going, ooh. What's this? Oh god, I'm shuddering. I can't imagine anything worse, actually. Like, scratch the river of humans. Make this the worst. Furries! In the turbulent tide of humans tangled with one another, my consciousness slowly fades. The boundary of consciousness is collapsing. People's distortions join each other in a large flow, entering the underground floors. I'm confident that I can keep a firm grip on my sanity, but can Ezra and Uriah retain themselves in this current just the same? My worries soon erode into fragments and drift along the stream. Reminiscences of the past swell up in my mind, memories of my past missions, companions I couldn't protect, my incompetence that drove them to their demise. It's as if all my regret and longing is being stirred up. The emotions become one with the flood and float away. In this rush, I desperately held onto Ezra and Uriah's hands. How far have I gone down now? How much time has passed? When I came back to my senses, no one was around me. Where did all the people go? What about Ezra and Uriah? My head is pounding. You must be awake by now. A nostalgic yet despicable voice reaches my ear. If you're hearing this, that most likely means you're at the 15th basement floor of Thai Young Produce Company. You always love to play silly games like this. You must have a lot of questions for me. That's a pre-recorded message. Now I see why Han Hee-jun visited my office recently. I've been playing into his hands all along. Indeed, you always trusted me and did every favor I asked of you. I'm guessing you were behind the incident I caused that day as well. Why is she talking to him if this is a pre-recorded message? It's kind of weird. Wait, is it pre-recorded or not? Because it seems like he's answering. This is not the time for that, though. We have more important questions to address. Or maybe it's like, yeah, it's a continuation of, you must have a lot of questions for me. This is not the time for that, though. Okay. Why did I leave a message here to talk with you? What happened to your adorable assistants? How was I able to use the distortion to my advantage? I won't let your cunning words sway me anymore, you sly serpent. It's my business to take care of my partners, and I decide my own path. No, he must be, like... What? This is not pre-recorded. He either knows what she's gonna answer, or he is directly answering. Sure you do. I'm just trying to give you a small heads up. All the anomalies that occurred in this company, they were set up for one reason. I wanted to let you know that I found a clue about the distortion you're chasing after. As you've seen here, I can now harness the distortion to an extent. Moses, doesn't this give you a glimmer of hope that you may finally repent for what you did? What did you do? You know I was already about to go meet you anyway. There was no need to pull this nonsense on us. But if it didn't go to such lengths at the very minimum, your hatred towards me wouldn't have carried much weight at all, now would it? What a paltry concern, carefully preserving all my wrath just for you. Why don't you prepare a silver platter in the meantime so I can put your head on it? You must be awake by now. If you're hearing this, that most likely means you're at the 15th basement floor of Tai Young Produce Company. That son of a bitch. He knows how to mess with me too well. I must focus on finding Ezra and Uriah for now. Give me a second. Wait, this one. Fluorescent lamps light up in the underground space. This was the 15th basement floor. It's entirely surrounded by pure white surfaces. And Ezra standing idly in the middle of it. Ezra. I took out my smoking pipe and put it in my mouth. Then I placed my hands on my forehead. It looks like Ezra's distortion is still within my ability to solve. She seems so tiny and powerless, standing on the opposite side of the room with her head bowed. Detective, I couldn't protect her. This is just like back then. I trusted you, Detective. Uriah was laid still at Ezra's feet, unconscious. Though, I still believe in you, actually. Uriah's red ribbon is still tied onto my smoking pipe. I quietly tasted the smoke as I looked up to the ceiling. Large antlers resembling those of a stag were grown on Ezra's head. Through my eyes, Ezra has always worn a mask on her face, though I could never quite tell whether that mask was a true expression of her feelings. But this time, numerous masks are plastered all over her body. The river of distortions got her in the end. I suppose solving the distortion of my precious sidekick is one case I can work on free of charge. I let in a violet breath. I feel like we could read another one, can't we? Just because it's Christmas. Come on. Chapter 12, Masks. Let's hope it's not like 4 times the length of a regular chapter. That's okay. Chapter 12, Masks. Let's dance, Ezra. Ezra, a diligent child who has little faith in herself. Ezra wore a different mask every day. I could only read the expression of the mask covering her face. I don't know what the true expression beneath the mask may be, but I decided to accept what's shown in Ezra's mask as her expression. I never bothered to forcefully resolve her distortion until now. This time, it's different. She's on the verge of losing herself, swept by others' distortions. Her entire body is covered in the masks of many others as proof of her perilous state. Ezra prepares a mask for each person she confronts. Ezra prepares an emotion for each mask she wears. I can only begin to fathom the storm raging in her mind. It's interesting, that's a very psychological way to distort, actually. The 15th basement floor, Ezra and I are facing each other in this white room. Loud noises come from Ezra's masks. Voices of laughter, crying, anger, anxiety, melancholy, distrust, disgust, and joy fill the chamber. I coiled my violet whip around my hand. Let's dance, Ezra. I lashed out at Ezra, my first target, a laughing yellow mask on her right leg. A voice rings in my head when I grapple the mask with my whip. What's your favorite kind of sandwich, Moses? Mine would be mustard. Then mustard is my favorite too. I pulled the whip to tear off the yellow mask from her body. Makes me feel nauseous. Ezra lets out a scream. Please bear with it for just a bit. The red mask on Ezra's left shoulder gives out a screech. Ezra grabs the whip and pulls me towards her. I release the tension in my body. In a moment's notice, I'm sent flying in a direction. I killed them all! I'll break everyone who's got to die! Ezra swings her fist at me as I'm being dragged towards her in the air. Using the momentum of the pull, I manage to propel my body away from her fist's path. I wrap the whip around Ezra's body and jump onto her shoulders. Then I grab the red mask with my hand to tear it off. Use violence only when it's necessary. Shrieking, the red mask is ripped out and thrown to the ground. My hand turned red from the searing heat of the mask. Ezra struggled hard, crushing me onto the floor in the process. I feel a sore pain. A bone or 10 must have gotten a crack. Must cost a fortune to get my back fixed. I confronted Ezra's masks and tore them all off one by one. With every mask I removed from her, a burst of Ezra's emotions came forth. An ice-cold mask, a mask that eats away the mind, a mask with rusted nails hammered into it. What would this one represent? These are not your true emotions. They're facades, faces that you want other people to see of you. I was scalded, bled from splinters, got frostbites and threw up from sickness. Only one mask remained. It's sadness, the absolute last mask of Ezra's that I wanted to face. I couldn't save them. The time, I couldn't protect them all. I'm so sad. The blue mask embedded in the center of Ezra's chest is crying, tears falling from its eyes. No, dear, that sadness isn't yours. The emotion was forced upon you by others. If you aren't feeling sad, there's no need to make yourself feel sad, no matter how others look at you. But I'm really feeling sad, though. You aren't sad because you couldn't save everyone that day. It was an excruciating task to bring myself to speak the next part, but I continued on nonetheless. You're sad that I'm bearing regret for what happened. The mask opened its mouth and began wailing loudly. My head felt like it was on the verge of bursting from hearing its cry, an unstoppable stream of tears started falling from my eyes. Crashetta. I guess it's a mixture of a crash and a shatter. I'm just gonna... Actually, I don't really want to throw anything on the ground, to be honest, because everything I have on my desk is kind of precious. I can. Maybe I can just... Is that good? I feel one of these days I'm just gonna fuck up my audio recording so hard because my microphone can't adapt to what I'm doing here that the session will be lost completely. The mask broke apart and several shards were stuck in my chest. The wounds bled tears instead of blood. That's cool. Ezra was back to her usual self. She's knelt down, staring into the floor. I slowly walked over to her. It's over now, dear, and gently caressed her head. Detective, I'm sorry, Ezra whimpered. The next issue at hand is Uriah. She seems to be in a perilous condition as well, although she doesn't seem to have been afflicted with the torrent of distortions, judging from the state of her body. I placed my hand on my forehead and whiffed my pipe. With this, we're gonna end for today, story-wise. And I enjoyed that. I really need to get back into the process of recording these more frequently and regularly. In preparation for Limbo's Company, I guess. I don't know when that will release. I guess sometime in 2022 if they're on the right track. We have to get through these until then. There's how many chapters now? I think 50 plus. And as far as I'm aware, yeah, there's a comic they released, I think today, like Christmas Eve. But you have to be logged into their website to read it. And I didn't really want to do that for a video for now. If there's enough interest, I might do, or maybe I'll take a look at it on stream or something. I have to read through it by myself first, though. So, yeah, it was Distortion Detective on Christmas. I hope everyone is having a nice Christmas this year, despite all things that might be going on in your lives. Whether you're spending it with your family, or friends, or alone. I hope you still enjoy it. I hope you can spend it the way you like to. And if you can't, I hope that you find at least a little bit of hope and joy in the fact that there's going to be a new Christmas, another Christmas next year. And just want you to know that I specifically took this time out of my day, because I could be doing something else right now, just to give people a little bit of light and hope. And maybe if you're not spending your Christmas the way you imagined you would want to spend it, maybe this half an hour of video is a little bit of a distraction of that. And you feel, I don't know, I don't think anyone would feel better after watching this, to be honest. I don't think I'm a magician or anything. Seriously. I also don't think I'm that important. And I really shouldn't be that important in your life. But sometimes all we need is a little bit time and a little reminder that things might get well in the future. And I say might get well because I can't promise you that. But they will, if we put enough effort in, I'm sure. Collectively, that's the problem. Not everyone is their own decider on their fate, sadly. Anyway, I don't want to end this on a sad note. I'd rather want to end this on a good yet thoughtful note. No, wait a second. It's not... Come on. Let's end this on something else altogether. what are you playing over Christmas? I'm really interested. Maybe there's a suggestion for me in there. Like a few days ago, and I want to finish it this year actually, I started playing Drakengard 1, because I haven't played the first 3 Drakengard games. I know what they're about, and I know their general like story and synopsis, but I haven't played them myself, so some small details are definitely lost on me. And I'm having a lot of fun so far with Drakengard 1, even though the game itself is a little bit atrocious, control-wise and gameplay-wise. It's pretty bad, but it reminds me of old games in a way that no other game has done recently. So I am enjoying my time just going through hordes of enemies, slaughtering them all. I won't record this, like I'm playing this for myself. But I might play it in the future. If people are interested, I'm up for playing anything, I guess. So I'm doing that over Christmas. I have to get back to work on the 27th though, so I'm not sure if I can actually finish it this year or not. Well, if I finish editing this quickly, I might be able to play today still. Yeah. Tell me what you're doing over Christmas. I hope you're all having a good time still, as I said before. And I hope you're looking forward to more Distortion Detective. I can't promise you whether there will be a video next week, since it's the 31st, and I have to work on the 31st, for one, and secondly, I'm not sure whether I'll be able to record, or whether it'll be too loud or not, or whether I have time or not. But we're gonna continue this, definitely. Like, there's gonna be a more fixed release schedule again on my channel in the upcoming year. And while I'm here, I guess I might as well like tell you something else, because I don't like update videos, so I just cram that stuff into other videos. I will most likely disable all, or at least most of the monetization on my channel, because for one, I never really did this to make money in the first place. I only did it for some kind of visibility, but at this point I also couldn't really care about that. Secondly, I never really made any money to begin with it. And thirdly, I don't really want other people to be able to make money off of my content like that. Even though most of the time, yes, it's not my content, I'm playing other video games and stuff, but the very fact that you enable monetization on your videos means that platforms, not naming them, are profiting off of these videos as well. And since I don't necessarily want to support platforms, or whatever ads they may run on my videos, I thought, why not just disable it? And the same goes for my Twitch, by the way. People don't want me to, mostly the ones that can't intercut sunk fallacy. But I will most likely disable my affiliate status on Twitch, since I'm okay with just people following me. I don't need people to subscribe to me or anything on Twitch. And with YouTube as well, I'm okay with people just watching me, even if infrequently. You also don't really need to subscribe as well, but if you want to, of course, like subscribing on YouTube is free, entirely free. But if you don't really like the fact that I'm gonna upload a video a day, or like I should be uploading a video a day, and if you don't really like the seriousness thing, you don't need to. I'm really not doing this for any fame or recognition or money or whatever. I'm just doing it because I have a lot of fun doing it. I have a lot of fun fucking around with a video like this, where I'm able to maybe play around with the shit on my desk and read through something genuinely interesting and something I haven't read before, hence why I'm sometimes stuttering over words, like quantitatively? Still not sure. I'm just having fun, and this is what I want. I want this fun to get across. And I want the person watching this to have fun too. That would be a nice gift for Christmas for me, I think. If someone has fun watching this, let me know, please. Make my Christmas better too by letting me know. Like, that's the one thing I might ask of you. Other than this, I think now we're finally done. I've waffled on for like 5 more minutes longer than I wanted. In case you won't watch any of my other upcoming videos, or they won't be as recent, I also wish you a happy new year already. Try to stay safe. Don't let the world bring you down. And the same way I always end my streams, when days are dark, always remember happy day. Bye.